Yo, what if I told you that the craziest moment of last night's Raw didn't happen when Seth Rollins got handcuffed in the middle of the ring, but what happened after is something WWE is desperately trying to keep quiet? Because while you were watching Seth get marched out like a criminal, a different kind of monster was already making his way backstage. And by the time the sirens stopped, Brock Lesnar was laid out, a police cruiser was surrounded, and Oba Femi had just drawn a line the bloodline cannot cross. Welcome back, family. If you missed Raw yesterday, you missed one of the most unhinged sequences in modern WWE history. The show opened with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar in the ring. Heyman was running his mouth, calling Oba Femi overhyped, name-dropping Dean Ambrose to pop the crowd, and claiming nobody could ever conquer Brock. Then the lights went out. Oba Femi walked out, came face-to-face with Lesnar, and when Brock tried to hit the F5, Femi slipped out and clotheslined the Beast over the top rope for the second week in a row. Lesnar retreated with a stunned look on his face, but Oba wasn't done. Because while all this was happening in the ring, Seth Rollins was about to be trapped. Here's where it gets insane. Later that night, Paul Heyman called out Seth Rollins. Rollins showed up in a mask through the crowd, but as soon as he revealed himself, Boston PD swarmed him. Heyman had filed a restraining order and Seth had just violated it. Then Heyman crossed every line. He taunted Seth about his wife Becky Lynch, saying she'd divorce him and marry half the locker room, and then dropped the bombshell. Don't worry, Paul Heyman, will adopt your daughter so she doesn't go through life knowing her father was a felon. That was it. Seth snapped, broke free, and attacked Heyman in the ring. The cops tackled him, cuffed him, and started dragging him out. Thousands watched Seth Rollins get arrested in the middle of the ring, but here's what most people missed. Oba Femi, after destroying Brock Lesnar earlier, had been watching. And as the cops forced Seth toward the back exit, the ruler made his move. Let me break down what really happened. According to sources backstage, Oba Femi didn't celebrate after throwing Brock Lesnar out of the ring. He immediately headed toward the backstage area where the police cruiser was waiting. He had seen Heyman's manipulation, heard the vile comments about Seth's family, and recognized exactly what was happening. The bloodline was using the legal system to eliminate anyone who stood against them. When Oba reached the loading dock, the officers were seconds away from forcing Seth into the car. Oba didn't shout, he didn't swing, he stepped between Seth and the cops, planted himself like a wall, and simply refused to move. Witnesses say the officers trained to handle any situation suddenly found themselves staring at a man who had just tossed Brock Lesnar like a sack of potatoes and showed zero fear.